Question 11. Which choice best summarizes the first paragraph of the passage, lines 1 to 35? So let's first go to that first paragraph. Now here at the beginning, the author starts by saying, "We are not witnessing the abandonment of the suburbs or a movement of millions of people back to the city all at once." Then it talks about census data, which shows that, the population of people in the country isn't necessarily moving away from cities and towards suburbs or vice versa, back to the city all at once, which is what he stated in the first passage. He says the news is mixed. So some larger cities were gaining population, some other cities were losing population. But then he says, when it comes to measuring demographic inversion, so not necessarily the raw numbers of population, then we want to use other sorts of data measures. And then it talks about how specific groups of people, for example, immigrants are now moving into suburbs, while more affluent residents are moving into the cities. And so essentially he's saying that there's a difference between full population numbers of people in cities and suburbs versus, the demographics that make up those populations. And that's what he says here at the end. It is important to remember that demographic inversion is not a proxy for population growth. It can occur in cities that are growing, those whose numbers are flat, and even in those undergoing a modest decline in size. So let's go to our answer choices. A, the 2010 census demonstrated a sizable growth in the number of middle-class families moving into inner cities. Well, actually, at the beginning of the first paragraph, he says that the 2010 census certainly did not turn up evidence of a middle-class stampede to the nation's cities. So this is just incorrect. B, the 2010 census is not a reliable instrument for measuring population trends in American cities. Well, the 2010 census, and a census in general, does measure population trends, so general whole population numbers of who lives in cities and who doesn't. But what the author says that it can't do is measure demographic trends. C, population growth and demographic inversion are distinct phenomena, and demographic inversion is evident in many American cities. Well, this is exactly what the author is trying to get at in this first paragraph. He starts off talking about the census and population growth, and then moves on to talk about actual demographic inversion and the differences in the populations that are moving to cities and moving to suburbs. Finally, D, population growth in American cities has been increasing since roughly 2000, while suburban populations have decreased. Now, no, what he said was that the news was mixed, that some cities were increasing in population, some were decreasing, and so this isn't a completely factual statement. So the best answer choice is C.